Well, despite critics still holding that number over on Rotten Tomatoes at 83%, turns out you actually need the audience to like it because you want them to tune in to the show and give it ratings that pleases the networks that create it. In this case, Disney, who, by the way, have not given us any official ratings on the show. All they've come out and done is say that it is their top streamed show of 2024, whatever that means. How many shows have even came out on Disney Plus this year? What new shows have they put out there? X-Men 97 is one of them, but from everything I've seen, despite the fact that I liked that show, the ratings were not, they weren't that great for it. They weren't that great. We have not seen any official numbers for that show. They did greenlight a season 2. However, I'm going to guess that show doesn't cost nearly as much to make as this one. Star Wars The Acolyte has a massive budget, and the amount of people watching it don't justify it continuing. Now, I want to point out this streaming record that they put here. Like, this is, as Geeks and Gamers Jeremy Griggs points out, and I think this is a pretty good comparison. These are LeBron James statistics, meaning they're just making shit up to make it look good. Like, oh, we're the first one to do this and that. The best streaming of 2024 don't mean shit. And if it is so good, where are the numbers? Where are the numbers for this show? We haven't seen anything third party. Nothing. I'd like to know how many people are tuning in, some kind of number, but we're never going to get it. But I'm going to go ahead and guess it's low because Leslie Headland is out there casting doubt on a second season. And she's coping hard about it because she's like, well, I kind of put everything I wanted into season 1, which is a cope. Because if this show was a success, if this show was the amazing hit that Disney and all these people would have us believe, you would have heard that a second season was greenlit. You would have heard that they were ready to go. Now, that usually is what happens to a show that is successful. At some point, when you're this deep into it, they will confirm a second season. They won't go out there and start casting doubts on another one. That's not how it works. I've been covering this shit a long time. And this is usually an indication that the show is doing poorly. And is that really a shock? I don't think anybody is shocked by hearing that. Despite all of these outlets coping, from Pink News, this is 2 days ago. New Star Wars series, The Acolyte, review bombed by bigots and angry fans amid woke backlash. Don't you like how they put those two together now? Isn't that funny? You're supposed to just suck this shit up and enjoy it despite the quality because Hollywood, like I've always said, doesn't give a shit about story. What they care about are the check boxes. And this is Star Wars, the check box. Oh, boy, is it ever. And that's supposed to be the winning formula, at least according to Lucasfilm. They thought this was going to be a hit. I really do think every time, despite a string of failure, I think every time they're about to put something out, they think it's going to go crazy and everyone's going to love it and just jump for joy. Lesbian space witches, wow, that's amazing. It's more amazing that they managed to turn that idea off to men. They managed to somehow make that unappealing. But, you know, it's modern Hollywood. Now, if it's been back in the 90s, that idea would probably be kind of cool. Let's be honest, it wouldn't even been in Star Wars because Star Wars was still handled by George Lucas then. But anyway, I mean, you get what I'm saying. So here's what she had to say. Let's take a look at this. So she was speaking with Entertainment Weekly. That's where this comes from. Following the release of the show's 5th episode, Headland said, "Something that I've noticed is first seasons will end on what should have been the break into Act 2. It feels like everyone's really expecting their shows to get a second season, and I don't feel that's a good idea." She then added, "I threw everything into season 1 because who knows what's going to happen." Despite Headland being unsure if the show will get renewed for a second season, she did inform the outlet that she has 4 or 5 major mysteries she'd like to explore if it does. Yeah, she wants the second season, but she's not going to, because of course she wants to keep working on this. It's a steady paycheck. If you just keep working on it, 4 or 5 seasons, the fact that those 4 or 5 mysteries exist means that you thought it might. Sorry, probably not going to happen. Has anything? Oh no, the Bad Batch. But I want to. So Mandalorian got 3 seasons. 3rd season was the worst. A lot of people jumped off Mando in the 3rd season. They were holding out hope after Boba Fett. That show was a disaster. Some of them still came back for Mando season 3. And might have been like, what the hell is going on? I didn't watch Book of Boba Fett. Why is Grogu back? What a mess that is. But they came back for season 3, and then they got to see Lizzo cameos, and they got to see the main characters step down for Bo-Katan to step up and become the main Mandalorian. And that show is in the shitter, too. I don't think ratings were that impressive for season 3 of Mandalorian. Andor's getting a second season. They're talking about that, and that did horrible ratings-wise. But I think what saved Andor was word of mouth. Word of mouth helped Andor a lot. And I think it might have picked up over time. Everyone says it's a good show. I have not watched Andor. I thought the first 3 were incredibly boring. Everyone says it gets better after that, but why do I have to watch 3 hours of a show for it to get good? Sorry. And I'm just really not interested in that character. He dies in Rogue One. Just a spoiler alert, in case you didn't know that. So she's out here trying to cope and say, well, you know, I didn't expect a second season, when she did. That's why you had 4 or 5 mysteries, Leslie. Former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein. The show is a flop. It's a tremendous flop. Honestly, I'm still kind of, well, I shouldn't be, but I am kind of shocked at how horrible it is. It really is one of the biggest piece of shits I've ever seen, entertainment-wise. It is bad. It is some of, I think, the worst entertainment ever made. It's up there. It's cringeworthy, unintentionally funny. I really wish somebody would take this show. I don't know where you'd put it because YouTube would flag it down. You could probably put it up on BitChute or something. I wish somebody would take this show and change the music to like just take a sitcom like Friends music or something and insert laugh tracks. You could probably turn this show into a comedy. I really think you could. Anyway, that's pretty much it. No season 2. Probably not going to happen unless they just really want to piss away the money, but I just don't see how they can justify it. And she's out here casting doubts on it now, trying to ease the disappointment for the 30 people that haven't watched it but praise it because they use pronouns. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.